My name is Armond Duck Chief from Six Guy Nation, Alberta, Canada. Country singer, songwriter, rodeo cowboy. Yeah, it's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Yeah, it's okay. So, first off, I just watched you perform for 2 nights. That was awesome.
Thank
It
you.
was like I was saying, I've just listened to Justin butcher your songs for months. No, but no, you did really well, man, and it was awesome to meet you and hang out and get to know you. But so when you so you're so what do you do in the rodeo? Before we get into your music, let's talk about rodeo.
So with rodeo, I'm a steer wrestler. So
Okay.
it's the only. I used to ride steers when I was like 14. I think that's the limit. Like 14, it was when you age out. So I rode steers right from. I think my first steer was I was 8, and my very first steer that I ever rode, I broke my collarbone because I was riding with one hand. Right, I wanted to be like all my heroes that I watched on the TV, and tried to ride one hand, and then I had a big calf, and then he kind of ducked out right on me, broke my left collarbone, and that was the very first kick at rodeo, and I was in a sling for like, geez, a couple months, and I had to wear one of them braces. So I knew right away it was going to be a rough sport. I rodeoed, till I was 14. Then I left that and I went to Pow Wow. I was dancing and singing, and then when I was 25, I went to go watch it was a finals, IRCA finals back in Sixiga. They were hosting it, and I was a powwow singer, so I was wearing the latest FUBU, and just being a real OG unit. Just wasn't even thinking of cowboying. And then I watched these guys steer wrestling. Like they were riding these horses full blast, jumping off the horses onto a steer, and then they were just like hammering them. I was like, holy shit, I'll swear on this.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I was like watching them just in amazement, right? And I was like, you know what? I had a long, hard thought. I was like, I think I can do that. So, and then I was cruising. I went with my dad to that rodeo, and a couple days later, I kind of was cruising around with him, and I told him, I was like, hey, I think I want to steer wrestle. He kind of looked at me. He's like, didn't really say much. He was like, huh, okay. And a couple days later, he kind of says, hey, you still want to steer wrestle? I was like, yeah, I've been thinking about it ever since I went to go watch that finals, and I was like, yeah, I want to steer wrestle. And he's like, all right. And then he pulls out a pair of boots in the back. He's like, well, here you go. You're gonna have to start dressing like a cowboy if you want to be a cowboy. So I was like, all right. So I had my first pair of boots. I wasn't a cowboy since I was like 14, and then so then I went all in on it. I absolutely loved it. It was the hardest thing I ever decided to do. It was like learning how to like throw a steer. They're like 500 pounds, right? They don't want anything to do with you. So like when you're learning how to do it, they're like stepping on you. Their horns are like grazing your belly. It's like, yeah, it was really hard, but it was like just the feeling of it, just being actually right in there, doing that cowboy shit. It was like I was hooked, right? And then
Mm.
so I spent that whole year. That finals I went to watch was 2004. It was IRCA finals. The winner went to the INFR, which that year was held in San Carlos. San Carlos had like Arizona. They had like it was an agreement for like 5 years or whatever. That's where the finals was going to be. So that was September of 2004. So that winter, that's when I was like fully in on this idea that I wanted to be a steer wrestler, and I watched all these DVDs every day. I would go to bed watching them. I'd wake up watching. I'll go on YouTube. I was just like I was in, right. I wanted this, and then that spring we started getting our first kind of kick at it, and man, it was tough. Like it was hard, right? You're like learning how to throw these steers, and then June, I went to a steer wrestling school. It was kind of a real like cutthroat cowboy steer wrestling school. Like we went to go chasing the steers, and they were one of the steers just had a calf, so they were heifers, like, they were big old cows that they wanted us to, like, learn on. So we chased those in, and then they kind of taught us the basics, and then we went from there. That was June of, 2005, and then we went, we went all in, like, I was, my buddy, he's gone now, he's my cousin. He took me under his wing. He's like, you want you could rodeo with me. I'll show you the ropes. I'll line you up with like horses to ride. So when we were at the school, there was a rodeo coming up. It was like a Father's Day, I think. And he's like, all right, I'm entering the rodeo. Who's in? All of us guys were just sitting there. There's like 15 of us. And I was like, I'm in. It's like, all right. So he entered me in my first rodeo. And then we went to the school and I went to my first rodeo. And after that, it was just a string of rodeos. They just introduced the INFR tour that year. So I entered that first one and then we just started going from there. It's just like, and I was just learning as I went, right? I was just
Mhm.
like, riding these horses, jumping off, and I was crashing. And nothing was going right for me. It was just like boom, boom. Every rodeo is just like something will go wrong. Like, because it's an extreme sport. Like you can't second guess yourself. You can't, you gotta be like, you gotta want it, right?
Mhm.
So I kept entering these rodeos and I was like, I wasn't giving up. I was like, okay, I got this. I had basically had to switch from powwow. So every weekend I would go to powwows. I would sing, dance, but the same weekends were the rodeos. So I had to make a decision. I was like, you know what? I'm going. I'm going to do this.
Mhm.
So I went all in on it, and then we were rodeoing as hard as we could in the INFR tour, and then yeah, we hit. I think it was Rocky Boy. I went. I did a dancing gig in 2004, or how does it go? Anyways, they paid me American, and then, so I had that American money from a dancing gig, and when I went to Rocky Boy Rodeo, it was one of the biggest rodeos of the year, and the entry fee was 250 American, right? And I was like, "All right, I'm doing it." I paid my entry, and then, I missed my steer, and I was like, "Damn," I was like, "Maybe this isn't for me," because that was mid-season, like, that was, August, and I was like, I couldn't pull it together, and then I was like, my buddy, he was a WHL, hockey player, he was a steer wrestler, and he kinda sat down and said, "Hey, man, you can't quit." He's like, "Your run is coming." He's like, "It's coming." I was like, "Alright, man." I went home, I went to regroup. My cousin Marlon took me to, one of his guys up in Pinoca, and we went out there, and we just, for 2 days, they had, like, 30 head of steers, and it was like all you can eat buffet, just steer wrestling, right? That guy's like, "All right, I want to see what you guys got. Grab one of them steers and let's see what you guys have." And first 2 steers just absolutely mauled us, and he's like, "Man, we have a lot of work to do." And so we started the whole pen, and then my cousin Marlon got hurt the first day. So the second day, he was like, "You wanna go back up?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah, let's go." And it was that day, I was running like, geez. I started, doing the groundwork, getting things going, then the guy was like, "Alright, we're gonna run these steers off the horse," and at that point, I hadn't caught a steer. I hadn't finished a run from the horse to the steer.
Mhm.
So that day, I ran, I think I ran about 25 steers, maybe 30, and I was switching horses. He had, like, 4 horses there, so I was like, and slowly getting it, just everything, like, he was like, "Alright, you almost got it," and then by the 20th steer, he's like, "Are you done?" I was like, "No, no, I wanna get this." So the next steer comes out, boom, we almost catch it, just barely. He was tweaking me as we go, and then same, he's like, "Are you done?" I was like, "No." Then finally, there was like 4 steers left in that pen. I was like, "Man, I'm getting beat up here, like, this is crazy." I was like, I'm not done, I wanna go." So then finally, he's like, "Alright, you're almost there, just get a little more patience, stay in there, get in the pocket." I was like, came out, and then everything was just lining up, and I pulled that. I got the run, my feet hit, and then boom, I threw my first steer. Oh, man, that was the best feeling ever, like, throwing that steer off the horse, like, completing a run and just absolutely chili-whopping that steer.
Mhm.
I was hooked. The feeling was there, and then, uh, we hit, I did another run, I got it again, so I was in the groove, right? I got it. And he's like, "Alright, you're done." He's like, that was a lot of heart." And then there was 2 steers left. So he said, "Take those on the ground." And on the ground, I got them both. So I was like, I was a cowboy at that moment. I was like, "I'm in,"
In
like
the zone.
yeah, and then so then that weekend came, and it was Saddle Lake Tour Rodeo, and, it was middle of August, and, I was on this, like, I was feeling really good, and then I entered Saddle Lake and then, went up there, and my buddy had a horse, and he wasn't there, but his dad was a judge, and then his mom was there with the horse, and then, uh, my traveling partner was like, "I'll go ask him if we could ride his horse," and then so he did. So we get on the horse, and then, his mom said, "Yeah, yeah, go ahead. You guys can ride him. Just warm him up." So we ride the horse. My buddy goes, he makes a run, and then I'm back in the box, and I'm still on that high of like, "Okay, I know how to do this now," right? And I come out, boom, and I just put a run together. I think I blacked out. I don't even remember, like, the run, but I threw that steer in like 4 it was 4-5, and then so that was my first steer I caught at a rodeo, and I was, like, leading. I think I was 3rd, actually. No, second that time. Then we went home, because it's a long and short, so you do a long round. Everybody in the rodeo goes in the long round. Then the top 10 go in the short round for Sunday. So me and my buddy, he was like 4-3, and I was 4-5. And then that Sunday, we were trying to phone around. Hey, what's leading up there? And then one of the guys was in the rodeo. He was at the powwow there, and he's like, "So what did you guys do?" I was like, "I was 4-3. I was 4-5, and he was 4-3." He said, "Oh shit, you guys are probably sitting pretty good. You guys should go back up there and make sure you're because that's a good time." It's like, all right. So that next morning, Sunday, we took off up the Saddle Lake, and sure enough, we were um, he was first, tied for first, and I was third. And then, anyways, we're sitting there looking at our draws, like we made the short go. Like this was like this was the goal, right? Like, oh man, I'm in the short round. And then, anyways, I'm sitting there, and we're like, our steers, like, all right, let's go get the horse ready. And then that my buddy's dad was the judge. So the mom said we could ride the horse on the Friday. Well, the judge, he comes up, he's like, "Which one of you is Armond Duck Chief?" And I was like, "Oh shit." I was like, me." He's like, "The next time you ride someone's horse, you ask them first." I was like, "I thought I did ask." And then he's like, and then I was like, well, you think I can ride him again?" And then he's like, "Did you make any money?" I was like, "Yeah, I came 3rd." "All right, I guess I gotta let you ride him." And then so I was like, "Okay, good." So I get on, and then and then when you're in the short go, they go from the high times down, and then they go down to the best times. So when you're kind of I was the 3rd from last, right? And then I was still in that zone. I still felt like amazing, right? Because I just got my first rodeo run. So then I back in the box, I come out, and I just absolutely hammer on that steer. It was like 4-2. So I was 8-7 on 2, and then my buddy goes, my traveling partner, he comes out, and he was like 4-1, but he breaks the barrier. There's a 10-second penalty in this steer wrestling. If you don't let that steer have his allotted head start,
Mm.
you get a 10-second penalty, right? So he broke the barrier, so I was like, and then he would have won, but with that 10-second penalty, I'm sitting in there and I'm first. And then I was like, "Holy smoke, man, I have a chance to win this." And then the guy that rides in the box, he's like a world champion steer wrestler. His name's Wright Brewstead. He's riding in the box. I'm like, "Well, this guy can definitely take my money." He's like, "Hey, he's a world champion." He comes out, and his run goes south because like his brother comes in, and he overhazes the steer, and he doesn't even like get down. So as he's riding down, I'm like, "I think I won a rodeo." And I was like, "Oh, I did." So after like when the dust settled, the first steer I ever caught, the first 2 steers I ever caught at a rodeo, I won. So I won the buckle, I won a jacket for winning the short round, and I won a pile of money. And then that just made it all worth it. Like it was, and then so because it was an INFR tour rodeo, we were like, so I had 10 points because I won the rodeo. And then that next week, so I was just like, I was on a high. I was like, "Holy shit, I'm a cowboy now. I'm a steer wrestler." So I had a buckle, and I was like, we went home and celebrated, and then that next weekend was one of the bigger rodeos too in Crow Fair, and I ended up uh, again. I ended up making. I think I placed third, so I had another 7 points. So I was still on a heater, and then that it was the end of August. There was one more rodeo to go, and they take the top 10 in the tour. So I was sitting right at the cusp. I think it was like 9 or tied for 10 or something like that. And then went to Eagle Butte, South Dakota, and then I missed my steer. So that one was done. So I thought I was done. Like I missed that steer, and I thought that was it. And then a few days later, they did the audit because there was a couple of us tied. There was like 4 guys tied for the last 2 spots. So they went and did an audit, and then the auditor phoned the INFAR and said, "Okay, well, these are the 2 that made it." So I was outside. We have a ranch in Clooney, and I don't forget what I was doing. I was outside somewhere, and then my mom comes out and says, "Hey, Armond, the INFAR called," and they're like, "What'd they say?" I said, "They said you made it." And I was like, "Holy shit!" And so like a year after I decided like I went because those guys were doing the finals and for the INFR, and that's what like sparked my interest in the steer wrestling game. And a full year later, I made the INFR, so I went to San Carlos, and man, it was just an absolute yeah, dream come true. And it was just like I've been hooked ever since. So I've been doing it for since 2005, and I ended up having a really good showing that year. I ended up I broke the barrier in the last round. I think that was I could have damn near won the world. I was 4-3 in the finals. I caught all my steers. So yeah, that whole that the growing pains and that first year of just like trying to get into the sport and the abuse it
Yeah,
put
yeah.
on my body, it was like all worth it, right? Because I made it to the INFR, and yeah,
But, like, most people would have quit,
I think
you
so. I
know?
mean, it's a rough sport,
Right.
right? I have like as of right now, I have a ruptured bicep, I have a torn ACL, I have
Mhm.
broken fingers, I have scars from like horns, and it's just
What
like
was the worst hit you've taken?
I think well I think all of them are pretty bad. Like the rupturing my bicep was like it looks cool now because it looks like I have a Popeye arm, right? But that one was nuts because yeah, I tore my rotator cuff first in the first rodeo, and then I went to the second rodeo. And down in the States, they kind of they steer wrestle these bigger steers, like Corrientes. Up in now, like Canada, they do a lot of longhorns, so they're a little bit skinnier. Horns are a little bit they go straight out, but the Corrientes are kind of like the Mexican fighting looking bulls, like so they have a thick base and their horns kind of come up. So that was a heavier steer, and when I tore my rotator cuff, I went to grab on this heavier steer, and when I pulled him around, I felt a pull. I thought I just might have pulled my muscle, right? I finished my run, and then I go home that night. I drive home from the States back. I was living in Lethbridge, and I remember just taking off my shirt. My bicep was just curled up in a ball. And I was like, I didn't even know what to do. I didn't even go to the doctor. Like, so it's
Mhm.
healed like that, right? So, and then, yeah, a couple of years after that, I tore my ACLs, a grade 2 tear, they called it. I took a horn. I was coming off of a steer, coming off the horse. Steer threw his head back, and the horns went right into my hand. It was just a bunch of like the meat sticking out, and
Ugh.
got that stitched up. And then I was doing the pro rodeos at the time, and if you're not allowed to like if you medical out of a rodeo, then you can't enter for like the next couple, I think a month or something like that.
Right.
So I couldn't medical out. My auntie was the nurse. She stitched me up. She said, you got to be done for a while. I was like, all right. I didn't tell her. I was like, so I went to the next rodeo. I just duct tape, put it like really tried to get it all going. And we're in Wainwright. And then I come out there and I climb, and you have to hang all your weights on your one hand, right? Because you get in the hole. I just tore open my stitches. So I had to go get them re-stitched. So yeah, my auntie was pretty mad at me at the time. So yeah, it's a pretty painful sport, but I think once you get the hang of it, it's man, there's nothing better than finishing a run when you're like, yeah, I'm hooked on that feeling. So I've been doing it ever since.
It's it's like one of those sports. Is it a sport?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's one of those sports that everybody's like, "Why do you do that?" Because like being in boxing, it's the
Yeah.
exact same thing. Every time I go get a medical, my doctor tries to convince me to quit boxing. Like, you can get brain damage, you can,
Yeah.
but it's just like once you're hooked on it, right? It's like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and I can tell even just by how you're talking about it, like you still light up, you still are like super passionate about it.
I got a rodeo tomorrow, so like once we fly out of here, I drive back to PA. We rent a car, and then I'm driving all night back to Siksika. They're having a tour rodeo, so I'm up at 2 o'clock tomorrow. So yeah,
Okay.
I'm still riding the game here.
Yeah. So when you okay, because I don't really know, like I've been to a couple of rodeos, but not so what to get a visual of what exactly you're doing when you're steer wrestling. Like you're on a horse
Mm-hmm.
and you
Yeah,
catch up to it, you drop off it, and
yeah,
then you wrestle it.
yeah. You're on the horse, and the best thing to do is get on a good horse because there's some rough horses out there.
Mm,
Best thing to do is own your own horse, right? Because then you can work with it.
right.
But I don't own a horse right now. I sold my mare a couple of years ago. So I'll get on my buddy's horse, or I'll get on whoever's horse is there. Like I'll try to get on the best horse if I can, whatever I can, right? But yeah, you're on the horse. You gotta be able to ride that horse into the box and make it work for you. Set it up just right. Then there's a barrier string that's on the steer's neck that gives that steer that allotted head start, and then that neckline breaks the barrier, and then that's when you're safe. So you literally gotta wait. Like once you nod for your cattle, you gotta kinda score, they call it, and you wait just enough for that steer to start, and then you come kicking, you come riding, and then once you set up your, like there's a sweet spot there, like, it all depends because the steers do a bunch of different things. Sometimes they'll come into the steer wrestler, sometimes they'll go into the hazer.
Mm,
The hazer's on the other side lining up the steer for you, making sure it doesn't veer off to the right. But a lot of times the steers will kinda try that right side, or they'll try the left side, or some steers will come out and they just put on the brakes, hey, so you gotta be ready for, like, anything. But yeah, that's what you're doing. You're coming out and you're, like, riding aggressive, and then once you get to your spot, you're dropping your ass down into the hole, and you're riding up on the back of the steer, and then you take from the saddle horn to the inside horn, then you hook the outside horn, then you get your feet placed where you need them, like usually a wide base, kind of like a fighting stance. Like you got to be, everything you got to be hunched over,
mm,
and then once you get over the horns, you just basically change the direction of the steer's eyes. Like you kind of put them around, and when he to change direction, his body will naturally follow. So when he pops, that's when you go for the nose, then you just lay him down. Flat falls are the fast flags, right? If you get a fast fall, like just a flat fall, that's a faster. Like the judges are on the horse and they're waiting for you to, like, once you hit all four legs out, they'll flag
mm,
you. So sometimes if you do it wrong, or you put the steer, like if you put the neck back into him, they'll dog fall. So they'll curl up this way, but they won't flag you until all feet are flat.
uh,
So it is like it's a science, right? It's a
right.
technique. You gotta put a lot of work into it. You gotta, like, not only your horsemanship, but you gotta learn how to, like, throw the steers on the ground the right way. So it's yeah, there's a lot to it, but
Is
it
there a
is.
time limit?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's based on time.
Right.
So the fastest time wins.
I mean, like, do you
I think it's like 30 seconds at most
okay.
rodeos.
So what do you because you said a couple times you missed your steer.
Well, sometimes you get down and things go wrong. Like, so either the steer will set up, or a steer will come in to you, and then you don't get a good shot, and then either you go over the horns, or
Mm,
sometimes it's too wide. Like, yeah, it's just I had one where I got down in the hole and the steer kind of set up to the right, and I ended up, slamming my finger on the ground. It was, this finger. A bone didn't come out of the skin, but the bone I must have hit a rock, and it was just on top of this bone, right? And I looked at it, I was like, "Oh, shit," and I was walking back holding my hand, and then everyone's like, "Yeah, go to the ambulance." So I went to the ambulance. I'm holding my hand like this, and then the ambulance starts taking off my shirt, right? I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Is this your shoulder?" I was like, "No, it's my hand." And I showed him. He's like, the ambulance guy's like, "Oh, we can't do that here. Go to the hospital." So I was like, "Oh, shit." So I go to the hospital, and, I was there, and they put me in on, morphine, and then I was like and the guy was like, "Okay, I'm gonna count to 3." He's like, "1, 2," and he just pulls it at 2, eh? He's like pulls it out, and then, that next day, I ended up, I still caught my steer, had a little sling on there. But yeah, it's a fun sport.
Yeah. So when you say, or even when your dad said to you, you have to dress like a cowboy now. Like, so what to you is being a cowboy?
Well, I always, make the joke like that I'm a rodeo cowboy, right? Because like, I still like, we have a ranch at home, I have horses, and as of right now, like, a couple of years ago, we kinda got rid of most of the horses. I did a equine, therapy, like, I do that back home for youth and just whoever, right? Equine assisted learning.
Mm,
So, yeah, being a cowboy is just like I see there's 2 kinds of, like, cowboys, like, there's your rodeo cowboy, and then that's kinda what I, identify as. I'm in the rodeo, I go to the rodeos, like but, yeah, other than that, like, I'm still just a regular guy, like, how I don't some guys are, cowboys, like, through and through, they're doing it every day, they're breaking horses, they're running the ranch, they're cowboys, right? And it's just, so yeah, that's the way I see it. Like, I do identify as a cowboy, but I mainly emphasize that rodeo cowboy because that's what I like to do. And yeah, so after that, after he gave me them boots, I went shopping, bought some Wranglers. I ditched the FUBU and the G Unit, and then now I'm just like, yeah. And it was like right around that time when, like, in that 2005, that's when 2004 is when I learned, like, when I learned how to start singing. Like, I kind of
mm,
transferred uh, I transitioned from powwow music into country music because my college roommate, my cousin, he taught me how to play the guitar.
mm.
So it was kind of just a natural transition. And then right from like 2005, that's when I wrote my first song, like "Go Buckle Dreams," because I was like going to the rodeos, bring the guitar with me, and
Right.
and then it just started like kind of went hand in hand, and then
When you go to a rodeo, kind of like behind the scenes, is there lots of people who playing guitar and just chilling and hanging out and singing, or no?
not really,
No?
not a lot, but there's some,
Yeah.
but no, it's I kind of there's not too many that do both. Like there's a lot of guys that will play the guitar, but it's a very select few that
Right.
are out in the back singing. And but yeah, like I would bring the guitar out, to the trailer, and we just gather around, belt out some songs, and
Yeah.
yeah.
So when did you realize you could sing, or did you always kinda know that and you didn't really play music?
Well, yeah, I didn't. Well, with powwow singing, I was the lead singer of my drum group, and then so I knew how to like have that control of my like the vocal range and stuff.
Right.
And then I was doing like karaoke. I think I went to a karaoke bar, I was like 21, and then so I knew I could sing. The karaoke lady was like, I think I sang that "Oh, Carrying Your Love with Me" from George Strait, and the karaoke host is like, "You can carry a note." And I was like, "Oh, could I? All right, man." So then we and then it was like two. It was around that same time when I was learning how to play the guitar, and then I kid you not, when I watched Walk the Line in 2004 when it came out, I had that same feeling when I was watching them steer wrestles. When I was watching Walk the Line, I was like, "Holy shit!" Like when he was sitting in the shower when he was in the Navy and he was writing Folsom Prison, like on the movie. I hear the train a coming. I was like, I kind of got chills. I was like, man, I could do that, So like, right from there, I started doing that.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. Like I picked up the guitar and kind of got more serious with it about right after that movie. Like I was like, oh, I know how to play the guitar. So I was like, started like, because I was already kind of singing like cover songs like Hank Williams, and so then I wrote "Gold Buckle Dreams," and then that's a song I would play, like out at the rodeos, and people would be like, "Hey, play your song," like it's like pull out my guitar and I would sing "Gold Buckle Dreams" because we're all there like for that
Yeah.
very reason of wanting the a gold buckle, right? So I was like singing the song at all the rodeos, and just that's how my gigs kind of started coming. Like people were like, "Hey, can you come over here and play?" And I remember my first gig was like somebody was like, "Can you come sing a few songs at this barbecue?" And then they're like, "We'll pay you $500." I was like, "Say less." I was like, "I'm coming." So yeah, then singing just kind of took over and just kind of went. I went in that direction. So I was rodeoing and singing cowboy music.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's wicked, eh? It's kind of cool how like you like see something, it like excites you. You're like, I want to do that, and then you do it. Because I think most people, it stops there. I wish I could do that, or I want to do that, and then that's it, right?
Yeah.
Or they'll go try it, realize they're not good at it, or that it's harder. It's not as easy as they think it's gonna be, and then they quit.
Yeah.
But for you, you just push through it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, where does that come from? Or where do you think that comes from?
I think, like, honestly, I've always been like this, and, I always tell this story, like, so when I was, like, 8 years old, like, growing up on the res, it's like it's any res, right? It's tough, right? So alcohol was a big thing, like, it was all around, like, everybody was doing it, but at 8 years old, I made a decision. I was like, "I'm never gonna drink or do drugs." I said that, and I remember that, like, I was 8, and my babysitter, I told her, I was like, I'm never gonna drink or do drugs," and she kinda laughed. She's like, "Oh, I said that when I was a kid. You will." And I was like, "No, I won't." And then, so I've been sticking to that ever since. Like, I've never had a drop of alcohol or I've done drugs. Like, the morphine when I got my finger, that was the first time I got a
Mm,
really good, like, high.
right.
Um, but, so, like, that right there for me, like, that ability to just kinda, like, make a decision and stick to it at a young age, that kinda drove me 'cause it was the same way for Pow Wow. None of my family did, they didn't dance or anything, and I seen I was, like, there's a Pow Wow, and I think I was probably, like, 15, and I seen these, traditional dancers, Doug Rain and his brother. They were dancing, traditional, they had their face painted, and I was
Mm.
sitting in the crowd, same thing. I was like, "Holy shit, I could do that," right?
It's awesome how excited you get
Yeah,
even just thinking back to it.
so I did it. So I went all in on Pow Wow, and I started singing, like, then I ended up being the lead singer. So yeah, I've always kinda had that just that ability to, like, if I want something or if and go for it, I'm just gonna do it. Like, whatever it
Mm,
takes, I'll get it done, right? So yeah, I think that decision at a young age, to not, like, partake in, like, alcohol and drugs was probably the driving, force behind, like, the rest of my decisions in life and all the blessings, right? Like, it's
mhm.
because it's big, There's not a lot of people you can meet that do that, right? And but I still I don't, like, I don't go around bragging about it, or I don't judge anybody on, their decisions. Like, I'm there to help. I'm addictions counselor and Sixiga. When I go home, like, when I'm not on the road singing, I'm an outreach, mobile addictions counselor. So,
Mm,
yeah, I'm just like a go-getter and a fun haver.
right,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
anything I kinda that excites me, anything that I think, like, I'll sit there and kinda think about it, and I'm like, "I could do that. I'm gonna go try that out." And then I'll just do it.
I think that's like, because it's super rare, especially, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, like, to never drink, never do drugs, it's probably not many people, right?
Yeah.
But like it's almost like you had this like superpower because most people are thinking of what they're gonna do on the weekend, you know? Where they're gonna go, which party, who they're gonna hang out with. And for you, you were like you said, I'm a fun haver. You're looking for ways to have fun. You're looking at and they just like happened to be in line with your goals and like, you know, whether it was music or
Yeah.
rodeo or powwow dancing, it's like you didn't have this thing, this distraction that everyone else has, right? Because you how often do you hear of athletes, of musicians, of and even just like people in their careers just like getting taken off course for years, 10 years, 5 decades, and or sometimes never even being able to go back to it, you know?
Yeah.
Like even for with boxing with me, like I started when I was like 15, but there was like 10 years there where I just half-assed it because I was partying,
Mhm.
you know? And it's just like this like thing that just takes you off to the side, then you'll come back, and then you'll go back off to the side, and then you'll come back, and you just had this ability to just narrow in on things, and that's like a superpower.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I see it like that, but yeah, I feel like, just I think because I've lost, like, a lot of friends, right, to alcohol, like,
Right.
the people I grew up with, like, accidents, suicides, like, yeah, so it was right there in my face and, in my community, in my surroundings, so it was like it just kinda strengthened my decision though, like,
Mhm.
'cause I seen it. I seen what the destruction it did on their life, and I seen all the, like, the bad come out of it, like, some of my best friends ended up, passing away due to, like, drinking and driving or just, like, like, suicide, but it was all based from, like, the addictions and stuff, so it was that just as I kind of went on in life, it just kind of solidified my decision that I made at 8 years old, right, to not do that, and
Right.
I've just never had the urge, like, we had, like, graduations, we've like, these times like, we won the league in, double A, hockey, we won, like, that league that year when I was in midget, and everybody was, like, going out partying, and I was like, "I'm good," I'm glad we got a ring, I was like, I was happy with that, and then, yeah, so I've had some pretty big milestones, and I just never ever, my celebration would always just be a big meal or steak or something, right? I was just like, never really, thought of, like, "I'll go time when I'm going to Bender."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so just
I know because even just talking, you said you haven't done too much speaking.
yeah, no,
I man, it's like something you should, not you should, if you want.
I think I can do it.
Think about because, like, I think of those age groups, like, from, like, 8 to, like, all the way to, like, maybe 15, like, that age where people haven't even thought about drugs or alcohol yet or just thinking about it or just, like, starting. Man, if you could talk to that age group and just show them, you know, because like, I've got like, you're pretty cool, you know?
I hope so.
And, like, to show that, you know, like, you've hit so many of your goals, you know, you're, um, playing music, you're in the rodeo, you're doing all these things, uh, and just showing them that, like, you can be cool in other ways,
Mhm.
you know? That might be,
I was a mentorship coach at the high school a few years back, like 2016 to 2019. So, I did a lot of that, like, just mentoring and working with the youth, and then, like, I did maybe, like, I think probably a handful, I think I can count on one hand how many times I actually spoke. But, yeah, I've always kinda thought that, that could be, an avenue to take, like, but, yeah, I just don't know how to, like, just get into, like, that because, like, oh, it's all about timing, like, right now, I'm, like, I'm way over here in Brochet, like, and then after this, like, I go home, do 2 rodeos, then
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
back on the road
It's
till, like
busy,
yeah, I know,
man.
I'm back on the road till the 10th, and then I got another rodeo, and I get back on the road, so, like, timing deal, like, t getting your, schedule lined up to do stuff like that would be,
Right.
like, the next kinda task, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything you're involved in just consists of traveling and
Yeah.
being everywhere
Yes,
else,
yeah.
right? That's
But I love it, right?
yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
oh, man, it's just like being on the road is just where I'm most, comfortable.
yeah.
Yeah.
You like meeting people,
Yeah.
meeting new people, and
Meeting new people and then, eating all the different kinds of food,
oh
like,
yeah.
I went to Pawatuckla a couple summers ago, and I was eating, beluga, caribou liver, Arctic char.
Beluga.
Yeah. I see that on TikTok, how they, like, have, whale fat, and they kinda chop it up, and they put on, soy sauce or, like, that, HP, I don't know, it's House
Mm,
of Parliament, that steak sauce.
yeah, yeah.
So, I went there and, they said, "Yeah, we'll feed you some." So I ate it, ate beluga. I went down to Miami in December. I ate, gator tails, like it's alligator
Wow.
tail.
Yeah.
It's like, it tastes like fish, but it's really chewy. So yeah, just exploring the world and just having a blast doing it.
That's cool, man. That's fun.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
fun too. Like it's it's cool that you're able to go travel, meet these people, do these, experience these things, and then when you do come home, like you have a pretty important role in your community. Kind of giving back and stuff. It's like that's huge. That you could share these experiences
Yeah,
with the youth.
yeah. Yeah, no, it's a pretty tough job and, like, but I'm grateful that they allow me to, like,
Hmm.
be on the road, and then when I go home, I still get to go to, the office, clock in and go to work, right? It's kind of it's a good setup for sure.
And how often are you power dancing now?
Only when I get the chance, like,
Yeah.
honestly, like, I think my last powwow was I went to Bozeman, Montana. That was, like, geez, almost a year ago,
Mm.
but it just again, it's like I'll 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 get kinda like I wanted to dance this weekend, but I don't know, maybe Sunday I'll suit up. If not, I think I might have time, I do have a plan, like, to dance, in these next couple weeks because there's a few powwows back in back home, and I kinda have, like, the weekends where I'm gonna have a little bit off, so I'll probably dance in the Browning or, kinda one of those powwows, just dust off the outfit and do a
Yeah.
couple rounds, and yeah, because I still have fun with it, it's still because it's a lot of, it's a good workout, when
Right.
you're out there, especially, traditional dance, we do, like, 3 songs, it's a good workout, so I still,
Yeah.
every chance I get, I still like to dance.
What is it's such a like I feel like the Blackfoot culture
Mhm.
is so like they're so cool, like they're so it seems like they're just like strong in their culture,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
like you depending where you're at, there's a lot of things that are lost, you know?
Mhm. You know, they
But
still
the Blackfoot like seems like they're pretty strong culture wise,
yeah,
like
no,
as a community.
absolutely, yeah, yeah, they're still very, very, strong in their, like, ceremonies, the Siksika way of life is still intact. There's a lot of people that are still, like, in there and involved in it and keeping it going, like, with the stories and the ways, like, passed down, right? There's still act like we still have the Sundance and,
Mm,
yeah, so it's still culture is still a really big, back home, it's really, there's a lot of people that you can, like, go to if you need anything, like, culture-wise, like, there's still a lot of people, a lot of my good friends too that are still, like, a big part of it, and yeah, so I do agree with that, we're very, but it's the language is kinda one it's really important to try and revive. I don't speak Blackfoot, but,
Right.
like, that's where your identity lies in your language, right? So it is, so we're losing that, but I think if the efforts continue, it has a chance to still be around for us. Like, there's still a lot of people that are fluent, and then a lot of people that are still, learning. So
Right.
yeah, but yeah, I do agree with that. Like, back home, they're still very, very immersed in that culture.
Do you Sundance?
I don't know.
No.
I'm not in any of the societies or anything, but I'll go down and hang around, be a part of it. But
Right.
yeah, I'm not in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I've only been to one. Um, I'm like when it comes to like the spiritual side of things, I'm still figuring that out.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to, I didn't grow up with my indigenous side.
Mhm.
I grew up with my mom, so it wasn't until like way after high school that I started learning and uh being around indigenous people more,
Yeah.
native, like maybe my family and my native side, and then like going out to ceremonies and going to powwows and uh still trying to figure out where I am with all that,
Yeah.
but it's good to learn, it's good to know. Um and I know for Sundance it's like if you say you're gonna do it, you do it,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, no, I know that, yeah.
Yeah. But
That's why I haven't said.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. And for me, like, I don't wanna do it just to do it,
Mhm.
Like, I want to be at a point where I'm like, I should be doing this, or I need to be doing this, or I want to be doing
Yeah.
this, and
Yeah,
not
I
just
agree.
doing it to do it.
Mhm. Yeah, you gotta be sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know when I went and helped, I was in Big River, uh, I could feel the energy, I could feel the power behind it. I could see, like, how what it was doing to the people there and
Mhm.
how powerful they were afterwards, and I was like, "Dang."
Yeah.
That's like, another, like a superpower,
Mhm.
like, to be able to take that energy, take that ceremony, and then, like, use it.
Yeah,
That's cool.
absolutely, yeah, it's who we are.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that for one thing I wanted to, pick your brain about too, because we were kinda talking about it a little bit, but, um, was the carnivore diet,
Oh, yeah.
because, obviously it gets a lot of hate.
Mhm.
It's like one of those things where some people just love it. Some people are just like, "That's dumb,"
Yeah.
but like, I've tried it,
Mhm.
and we talked about that. Like, I just did like a 3 month carnivore,
Mhm.
and like how good I felt. Uh, it was honestly probably the best I've felt. It like cleared up like that bump I had on my face. It just like went away, and
Yeah.
then I've had it since I was like a kid, and it just like cleared up things, and it like made me feel, honestly, my favorite part of it was I felt the same every day.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have these like influxes of energy. All of a sudden, I need to crash. I
Mhm.
need to sleep. I need to take a nap. It was just like constant. This is how I felt every day. But for you, you have like a really crazy story with the carnivore.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I was like, it was, November 2024, and I was like, I'm still very active. Like, I play a lot of sports, fastball, hockey, slow pitch, right? And I was actually going down to Vegas to play softball, like, supposed to be like an athlete, but I was like 360 pounds, and I was like, I had to get a courtesy runner, like, just horrible, right? And then I get to the airport to go down, and I couldn't buckle the seatbelt, and I was like, damn, like, shit, I gotta do something, like, there's no reason I need to be this big. So I started. I was at the airport. There was coming home, we played ball and we went down to Vegas and then but I was really like thinking, okay, really gotta hone in on something. So I was kind of researching and then I on Instagram, I kept seeing these like carnivore videos, like they kept coming up and people would be cooking this like food and I'm like, holy, I could do that. I could vibe with a steak and an egg, every day. Like so I started researching it. I started really then I made my mind up. I went all in on it and like that. It was November 2024. December was a little rough because you got Christmas and you got all like right. It's kind of tough, right? But I did the best I could. But it was like, okay, well, New Year's resolution, New Year's is coming up,
Strict.
full carnivore. So 2025, I went straight carnivore. Every meal was just meat, eggs, and butter. Like just I got used to it. I incorporated because in my research fasting was this next thing like that kind of helps carnivore, right? And or just helps anybody, right? But I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this fast. I'm gonna do like a 72-hour water fast. Like I didn't know there was like spiritual benefits to fasting or anything like that. I just like I made a decision. I said I'm gonna do a fast. So when I did that fast, it was like January 21st, something like that. I did a 72-hour water fast, but that absolutely changed everything. My mind, my body. Like I was still having cravings because I mind you, like I started January 1st, strict carnivore. I was still craving like the sugars, like the snacks, the chips. But after I did that 72-hour water fast, the cravings were gone. Like everything changed. My mind changed. So I did that fast and then the carnivore just became like second nature. Like it was just something I was already easily doing. I just didn't even have to think about it. And it was crazy because then the transformation started. I lost in February, I lost a pound a day just from eating meat, eggs, and I wasn't like portioning it out. Like if
Right.
I wanted to eat, like I would eat a steak, I would cook some flank, cook some kidney, have some eggs. I was eating a big meal, right? And again, there was no crash. There was no like I didn't feel like lethargic by 2 o'clock. Think I need a nap or before I'd be like driving. I do a lot of driving. I would literally pull over, take a nap because I'd be too tired to continue. But after like once I was on that carnivore, I got rid of that. Like I didn't have the crashes and I was losing a pound a day. And then March, I incorporated like cold plunge. I was doing that every day, like, I was having to break the ice, get in, like, every day I committed to 6 minutes of, like, the cold plunge. So I did that, and then again, I was just losing, like so I set a goal, I was like, I wanted to get down to, like, 230 pounds, and, when my birthday, I was, from the 260, almost 260, my birthday, April 19th, I weighed in at, 200 and, like, 51 pounds. So I had already lost, like, 100 and something pounds, right? And
Mm,
that was just from, like, eating meat, eggs, and butter and nothing else. No cheat meals, no cheat days, just every day waking up and just eating, like, and working out like crazy. Like, I was doing skipping, I was, like, doing high intensity interval training. I was, like all everything I can kinda think of, I was building, like, these programs that would last, like, 4 weeks, then I'll switch it up. But every day, no matter where I was making sure I was getting my workout in, and then it was just, but one of the best decisions I think I've ever made, like, 'cause
right.
I had severe sleep apnea, that's gone, like, I don't snore anymore. I had that plantar fasciitis, I think that's how you say it. That's gone. That was, like, the most painful thing I've
Right.
ever, had to deal with because like, it was bad. My heels were just, like felt like, I had, like, glass in them, and, just, like, walking to
Mhm.
the bathroom was a chore after a gig because 'cause I'm standing in my cowboy boots all night. But, yeah, that's gone. So, it fully transformed my body, my skin. It just I think it was, like it's called eczema. That was it was on my, like on the sides was gone. So it just transformed me, transformed my body and my mind. Like, I was able to, like, just fully do a complete, like, just I got rid of 100 and what's that, 30 pounds, and it just changed everything, like
I can't even picture you 130 pounds more on you, man.
I don't ever wanna picture myself like that again. But yeah, it was like, and I was like it's funny because, like, when I talk about it, I try and get people, "Yeah, go do it," but you gotta, like, fully do it. Like,
Yeah.
you can't, do it for a little bit and then because even right now, like, I still haven't ate bread. I haven't touched a piece of bannock in since before 2004 November.
Mm.
So I'm against fried bread and bannock. It's not our food. I always say, if I ever get on a podcast, I'm gonna make sure I say that. Because, like, we don't need that stuff. We do not need bannock. It's not a traditional food. It's not who we are. I don't know where it came from, but I think it came from, like, the commodities that the rations they would give us back in the day. Here's your flour, here's your cooking oil, and here's your baking powder, whatever. You know, make whatever you want with that. It's the easiest thing to do is bannock, and then all of a sudden now it's like a traditional food. It's
Right.
not. Meat. That's our traditional food. Like, that's what we were. That's what we're supposed to eat. That's the way I feel. So yeah, I I'm still pretty I did add, like, yogurt and berries back into my diet so I can increase my muscle mass because I did find, like, for the whole year, I stuck to it for a whole year, and I found that like, I was more like just lean muscle, but to be like a steer wrestling and to play these other sports, you got to be like, you got to get your grow your muscles, right? You gotta So I added the yogurt and berries back into my diet, and it's been working. Like, I got the
Mhm.
size like I want, and yeah, so it's just trial and error. But I still stay away from the most part. I'm still pretty much carnivore. Like, I only eat meat. So, like, barbecue yesterday, I just had like 4 hamburger patties and a couple smokies. It's
Yeah.
just now it's just like second nature. I don't even think twice about. I don't miss anything like Chinese food, like how you'd feel after eating a Chinese food. I don't miss that. I
Yeah.
don't miss, yeah. Pizza maybe, but there's a place in Calgary, John's Pizza, that has a keto pizza.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a cheese crust and then
Mm.
all the meat and then cheese. Every now and again, I'll have that. It
You know,
kinda
I when I was doing carnivore, I found a recipe to make the crust out of ground chicken,
Yeah, yeah, I've seen that.
and man, the texture was similar, man.
Yeah.
For me, I was like, "Man, this is pizza."
Yeah. No, it is, like, that keto pizza is like, it tastes like pizza. It's just
Yeah. Even
there's
waffles, I made waffles out of ground chicken, and the texture was the same.
Yeah, yeah, there's a lot you can do. You can get creative and, like, especially with social media, like, there's a whole
Yeah.
bunch of channels, the carnivore bread, carnivore, like, everything, right? And if you
Yeah.
have the time, you can get creative, but, honestly, once you get into it, you don't even feel like you
Yeah.
need that stuff, right? All you're kinda, like, wanting is like, "Oh, man, I'm gonna go get a ribeye," you know?
Yeah, and, like, it's so filling.
Yeah.
Like, it lasts for hours and hours. It's not
Mhm.
like those fast-acting carbs where it's
Yeah.
just, like, in a couple hours you're starving again.
Mhm. And
It's,
then
like,
the
just sits there.
inflammation is, like, the best
Yeah.
part because it leaves, like, your joints, like, I used to have, like, bad knees,
Mm.
but now, like, I literally feel like I'm 25 again. I just
Yeah.
turned 46, so I feel like I'm reversing Benjamin Button.
Yeah. That's good, man.
Yeah,
That's
so
cool.
it honestly, I swear by it, like,
Yeah.
I love, carnivore. Like, I read you know, the cholesterol. They talk about cholesterol being so high or whatever.
Yeah.
I've seen all the negative comments and the people say, "Oh, you can't sustain that life forever." But I mean, I'm almost 3 years in, and
Yeah.
I don't see myself going back to eating like bread or
Right.
bannock or fry bread or like I just. Yeah, or even, putting cream in my coffee, like somebody. You gotta have black coffee. That's what I swear by too.
Oh man, I haven't heard the end of it since I've been here. Since I've met Armond, he's been well, bullying me almost because I've been putting cream in my coffee.
I don't care if you're a boxer. Steers are 600 pounds.
What is your I don't know what to call it, theory on black coffee?
I don't have a theory. So with coffee,
it's a fact.
No theories here. So with coffee, I was 36. So 10 years ago, I was 36. It was like I wanted to do a workout program. So I went online, I bought this workout program, and it called for black coffee, L-carnitine, and 30 minutes of cardio. And I'm sitting there, and I didn't drink coffee. I was like kind of research. Okay, why black coffee? Like, why do I have to? And it's like, oh, it boosts metabolism with the L-carnitine. It'll increase your fat burning. Like, I was like, so I was kind of on the fence for a bit. But then when I bought the program, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do it. So I got a black cup of coffee, slammed it back, L-carnitine. I got on the treadmill, and that program did really good for me. Ever since then, I've been hooked on coffee, and it's been black coffee. I've never put cream in my coffee. One time, somebody bought me a coffee, and it was a double-double, and I didn't know, and I took a shot. I was like, oh, I just about hit him. No, I was kidding. No, it tastes like caramel.
Punch.
Yeah. It tastes like a caramel chocolate bar.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not coffee. So yeah, I just I'm an advocate of black coffee. And
when I did carnivore, and we're done now. When I went to carnivore, because I just drank black coffee on carnivore.
Yeah.
And then when I went off carnivore, now I can just do one cream. So if I because I'll go black coffee, or I'll go one cream. But that, like,
not acceptable.
The disgust you're looking at me with right now. But
I wish they could see my eye rolls right now.
There's no way I could put sugar in my coffee anymore.
Yeah.
It just like makes it yucky.
It wrecks the very essence of a good cup. I have two things, we don't eat fry bread, we don't eat bannock, and we don't put anything in our coffee. Yeah. I'll live by those words.
Okay. Well, let's move on. I don't like this anymore. I was gonna. Okay, so if I want to see who is Armond Duck Chief, if we took away Cowboy, took away the rodeo, took away Pow Wow dancing, took away music and performing, if we took all those things that you do away, who are you?
I'm a dad. Yeah, I'm a dad. I have my daughters. I'm always busy with that. With sports. My oldest daughter just graduated psychology, so that's
Cool.
Yeah, that was really something. And it was a couple of weeks ago we had her grad, and yeah, so I just.
Did she try to analyze you?
I think so. I think she's gonna start. Yeah. So kind of waiting. She's probably gonna go for her like master's and her doctorate. Then I'm done.
I won't be able to say nothing.
Yeah, at the dinner table, I won't be able to say nothing. I'll get. She'll figure me out quick. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Just being a dad. It's
awesome that you said that. That was the first thing you said.
Because it's like like if I'm not on the road, I'm busy doing sports. My daughters play hockey, and fastball, and so.
And how's it being a girl dad?
I love it.
Yeah.
It's. I just
brings the soft teddy bear side out, eh?
I think so. I'm pretty tough on them,
Okay.
Rough them up.
Yeah.
Got to get them my daughter, she's 15. She wanted to play boys hockey this year, and I was like, all right, well, this kid's hitting, so it should be like I think they used to call it bantam, but now they call it U15, right?
Mm.
But that's when you start hitting. She's like, I want to play boys hockey. I said, well, you could play boys hockey if you do two things. I said, like, you gotta hit, gotta hit or be hit. Like you gotta be, that's the main thing. I wanna see you hitting
Mm.
if you're gonna play boys hockey. And the other thing I said, if anybody starts like, swinging on you, you swing back. I don't care if you win or lose, you swing back. And so I told her those two things, I'll support it. You can play boys hockey. So we go to a little town in Alberta, Consort, I think it's called. 3 Cs, the Consort to Carnation, and I forget what the other one's called. But anyways, we go there. I take her. I'm just me and my daughter. I'm in the stands with the other parents, and I'm watching, and by then she's already hitting, so I'm good with her. She's hitting, she's getting hit, she's taking a hit, so I'm good with like her being there. So I'm supporting this, like being in boys hockey. And then she comes up the wing. She's defense, and she comes up that left wing and carrying the puck, and this kid lines her up, and she just she reads it and she reverses it. She lines that kid up, and he takes her at the blue, and she just drops him. So then this other kid comes to that kid's defense, and he starts swinging on her, right? And I'm in the stands, and I'm like, kick his ass. So she starts, I'm watching it, and then his stick already dropped. So this guy's already just swinging on her, and I'm like, I lose it. I'm like, kick his ass. And then she starts swinging, and her stick drops, and she like goes about 3-4 punches, and that kid drops.
No way.
And I'm just like, like sitting in the stands, just absolutely losing it. I'm just loving it, right? And I'm like, so that clip is on. They do live barn, right? So all these minor hockey arenas, they have live barn. So that clip was on live barn, like, because she's coming up the wing and it's following her and it shows everything, eh? So I take that clip, I download it, I post it on my Instagram.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man.
So yeah, I'm like, they have no choice but to be rough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's basically it there. Yeah. I just love sports, like,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Did you play hockey?
Oh yeah. I played a lot of hockey when I was growing up, but it was like, I think the Pow Wow kind of, once I got into that, went
Took
that
over.
direction. Yeah. So I played like back in Strathmore, like that's the nearest town to the reserve, and we played that. It was double A hockey, so I played that most of my life, and it was. I loved hockey. I loved the getting rough and the violence. I still play. Like I play old timers now. 46. Not a spring chicken anymore. Rooster.
We'll get you in. We'll get you all trained up. Get you a boxing match.
Yeah, I'll try it out.
In the Masters.
Jeez.
Heck yeah.
I'll give it a shot.
One of my boxers, he just had his first boxing match at 42.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, as long as I have headgear.
Yeah.
What else? Everything. I'll
Boxing
try. Yeah. Bare knuckle.
Bare knuckle.
I went to watch a bare knuckle fight.
Yeah,
I was back home. My buddy was in there as a Cody. Holy shit, that's rank, man.
Yeah.
I think every single fight went to
knockout,
doctor stoppage because of the blood and the gore, right?
I was there.
Bare knuckle. You were in Edmonton?
Yeah. I have 2 bare knuckle boxers that I coach.
Yeah, man.
And nuts.
I'll never do that. I'm going to say that right now.
At River Cree, man.
Yeah.
10 fights, 10 knockouts.
Yeah.
I'm just like, and even the people who win, their hands.
Yeah, man. It was
like,
that was rank, man.
Crazy. Fun to watch though.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Wild sport.
I'll try boxing, but I won't try bare knuckle.
Yeah.
I just want to put that out there.
And clearly once he puts it out there, he makes it happen or not. Yeah. That's good, man. Well, we're at about 1:10 right now, man. We'll probably wrap this up.
Yeah.
But I guess for You know, like I want to come back to um just like the power you have, man, of just, for one, like, your relationship with failure must be just like, you have like a super healthy relationship with failure. You know, you're able to, you know, like literally in the sport you're in, get your ass kicked and get back up, you
Mhm.
know, and just like keep going, understand that you're gonna take hits, you're gonna lose, but you're just gonna get like one step better, one step better, one
Yeah.
step better. Um, so like that mixed with just like you know, your I guess like dream driven mindset. You know, if you take those things, maybe you could just share something with whoever's listening, you know, to be able to like go for whatever they want, you know,
Mhm.
in your own words.
Yeah, it's I'll just, like, say like I always feel, right? You know, if there's anything that you even just think you can do or want to do, you know, do whatever it takes to make it happen because they like it's you know, no decision's ever easy, but I mean, if you have that, like, ability we all do, right? We all have that ability to, like, to work through, like, you know, different, like, challenges and obstacles, like, if there's something you want and something that's worth, you know, like, fighting for, like, do it, go all in, like, if I'm doing something like with the steer wrestling, I was that's all I thought about. I went to bed thinking about it, I woke up thinking about it, all day I was thinking about it, so, like, fully just fully, you know, immersing yourself in that, whatever it is you want,
Mm,
and doing whatever it takes, because like, everything there's research, there's videos, there's things you can, like, you know, you pick up, like, uh, somebody that's doing it and watch how they do it, so, you know, like a mentor almost, like, having that and studying them, studying what you know, what are they doing in the sport? How did they do it? Like, you know, finding that out, it's out there, like, it's online now, everything's easy to find, right? So, yeah, if there's anything that's worth doing, anything that you wanna do, give it everything you got and do it because it's, you know, it's gonna be a challenge. There's gonna be times where it's like you're in over your head, but, you know, if you want it bad enough, uh, there's nothing that can stop you but you know? So that's always my, advice, like, it's whatever it is you're going for, just go all in. Throw everything you got at it, and don't give up when when it gets tough 'cause it all everything does. Everything will get something will happen, you know, there's always something comes up, always some sort of a challenge, something that you're like, "Oh, man, I don't know if I can do this now," like, you know, but if you just keep going, it's whatever you want in life you can grab, but it's all within reach if you're willing to just pay that price of not giving up.
mhm.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, I think you're in a you're a great example of that. You know, like I said, just watching you speak on it, man, like your passion is still there. I can see how much like joy and fulfillment is inside of you. You
Yeah.
know, like as you speak it like comes out,
Mhm.
you know? So you're a great representation of what you're speaking about. You know, I could tell that you've lived it. I can tell that you're um grateful for it and yeah, man. So you're what's the word I'm looking for? You're like a a blessing, man. I think you could help a lot of people. I think you have a lot of power in you for what you've done with your life and how you've built it. And I think yeah, man, you could help a lot of people. So keep doing what you're doing and thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. It's my first podcast,
Yeah.
and I got to say, "Don't eat fry bread and bananas." Yeah.
That's the one clip I'm gonna use. No, man, it's been awesome getting to know you.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Good to
Um,
meet you.
oh, we forgot to talk about how I saved your show the other day.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
All right, man. Let's wrap it up
All
there.
right, man.